Hi everyone, and welcome to part 3 of the Turtle Racing Snapper Clutch Review. In my previous video I mentioned that I'm going to be doing a video out on my track, and that is going to happen today. And I'll be putting that up after it downloads and whatnot. But first I wanted to take the opportunity and the time to take my clutch off, not off the motor, but open it up so you can see it and explain a little bit how this thing works. And I also wanted to take the opportunity to check my bolts, particularly my clutch bolt, and also the 8 bolts that are holding the clutch together, included in the install, just to see what's going on in there. Now, I haven't run my truck that much, or this clutch. Pretty much all I ran it was on the driveway that you've seen in video 2, so not a lot of time on it. But I still wanted to open it up to see if anything came loose, see if there's any premature wear at this part or anything like that. And here's what I found, to my delight. First of all, upon taking the clutch cover off, and I am running a Turtle enclosed carrier here with the 20-tooth pinion, here's the basket. And the basket's in great shape. There's nothing wrong. But if you look real quick, you can see some scoring on it. Now, let me point out that scoring is nothing. That's settling in scoring, okay? That has nothing to do with the cogs, okay, that disc B locks into. All that little bit of scoring is basically from this outside disc settling in. When it starts spinning, there's a little bit of rubbage on there, and that's fine, because what that's doing is that's keeping your disc B centered in that cog a little bit. That's all that is. That has nothing to do with any type of slippage or anything like that. You need to understand how this clutch works. These little fins sticking out here, right here, as you can see, this rotates, okay? Now, it doesn't rotate until the clutch is engaged. Now, these little fins sticking out on clutch B, they get locked into your basket, right in here in these notches, okay? Basically, they're always in there. They're already in there. And you know, this setup reminds me of anyone that's had RCR brakes, okay? Except RCR brakes run with a brake disc pushing against it. This is centrifugal force, using springs and weights to push the back disc, disc A, against this free spinning, engagement against disc C. Now what that does is it's locking it up tight so it spins with the entire clutch, okay? And then it locks it up in your basket, okay? So there's really no slippage going on here. There's no heat buildup in anything. In fact, the last thread I just looked up, Dave said he tested the heat from running one of these full bore, pretty much a full race, and the difference in the temperature inside an enclosed carrier was only 15 degrees different than the motor heat itself. Now that's pretty impressive. Okay, now upon going in here, and I hope that gives you a little bit idea how this clutch works. It's totally different than your two-shoe clutches, running on your drum, creating friction, creating heat, and so on and so forth. Upon taking this off, I checked all of my bolts, okay? You have 8 of them around here, okay? You have four M3s. I think you have 4 M4s. And the nice thing is they all take the same wrench, which is a 2 millimeter, okay? So you only need a 2 millimeter for all 8 of these, okay? They were all completely still tight. I did use Loctite on them all as instructed by Dave, okay? The only thing I didn't do was my center bolt, okay, the M6x30, which, by the way, is the perfect size and the perfect length for the G320. I've already measured it. It works. The stock G320 is a production motor, okay? Your cranks should not be any different. I know they're having a few problems with the 46 at this time and whatnot, some of the larger engines. That's not the case on the stock Zenoah G320. Okay, and I believe Dave mentioned the M6x30 bolt that he's including is pretty much good for just about all applications from the G340 down. However, follow his instructions. It says it's your responsibility to measure it, and so on and so forth, so you can get a tight engagement, and it's not bottoming out on your crank and not locking down your clutch to the crank. But for the G320, mine was absolutely the perfect length. I did the measuring and all that, and it worked fine. I did not use Loctite on my clutch bolt to hold it to the crank. Okay, I never have, I never did. Dave suggests doing it. You're probably going to want to go ahead and do it. I'm tired of using my Dremel. I've had issues in the past. That's just me. I would follow his instructions. Okay, but I didn't use any Loctite. I'm not going to use Loctite unless it slips, and it might. And if it does, Dave, you can tell me I told you so. And I won't be asking for another clutch from Damage. I'll be purchasing one. Okay, just so we can get that straight. Honestly, also, I did not use any anti-seize on my weights. Okay, again, I'm going to try it without. I was just a little bit paranoid because I am running a vented, okay, housing. This is a Bartolone vented, okay. I was afraid maybe some dirt would get in there. Maybe it won't. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to be putting it on the track today. Bear in mind, although I got the vented housing from Bartolone, I'm also running an engine shroud. So that should help keep a little dirt out. I firmly believe in that. I've gotten rocks and debris in there before, and it's chipped away at my flywheel fins and so on and so forth. So I did make the decision to run that. But anyways, I don't see anything going on in here. I don't see any wear. I don't see any, of course, I just ran it on my driveway. I'm not going to see any dirt in there or anything at this point, but certainly on my track, there's opportunity for dirt to get in there, and we'll see what happens. Who knows? It may slip out there because I didn't use Loctite on the bolt. And again, a learning experience. I'm gonna post my results up here and check it out again, take the motor out after I have a fair amount of time on the track, and see if anything loosened up, and so on and so forth. So I just thought it was necessary to show you a little bit how the clutch works. If you don't understand it, this is a paradigm shift from the old two-shoe clutches. It's a totally different concept, and it's one that's been needed for a long, long time. This is a major point in putting the power from your engine to your drivetrain. This is what it's all about. Additionally, I'm going to be doing actually several more videos. This won't be the last, this one in my track. I'm going to be putting this thing against another G320 stock, also running the 22 pinion. And we have very similar pipes. I'm running the Bartolone XP Big Bore silenced. My buddy Danny is running the Victory RC pipe, and I'm going to ask him, Danny, I hope you'll participate, just so we can do some hole shots to see what the difference is if any. Okay, I think there's probably going to be some. Danny's running a little different tires than I am. I'm still running the Losi tires, but I think it's going to be a pretty good apples to apples comparison. We're going to be doing hole shots out of my track. So we're going to be on the same surface. As I said, same stock G320s, same 22 pinions. The pipes are very similar. I don't care what anyone says. That Bartolone and that Victory is very, very similar down low. We've run them enough to know that. And I think it's going to be a real good comparison to see what this does against another Losi. And of course, he'll be running the two old style clutch shoes with the 8,000 spring, I believe Danny runs. So we'll see the comparison with that. Then I'm going to do another video, and I'm going to take my wonderful Bartolone pipe off, and I'm going to put the stock can on. Okay, the stock can, and I'm going to see how my truck does, again out in the driveway. And I might even prove that a clutch is more important than a pipe. Okay, call me crazy. Okay, I'm going to do some comparisons here. I'm going to see how my truck handles. Okay, so anyway, that's another story. We'll get to that later, but I've been doing some thinking, and I am going to do a comparison in that respect, so I can see how this clutch handles on its own without a pipe. All right, so again, I'm not going to babble on anymore, over and out. I'm going to throw this thing back together, and I'll see you out on the track later.